Hi people, today we're going to be talking about Bomb by Firelight by Nana Swift, and there's lots of things that I want to say about this book, so yeah, I just couldn't wait to make this review, and I'm doing it right now. Please forgive my very tired face. I'm very tired, but as I say, I wanted to talk about this book, so yeah. There's lots of things that has surprised me about this book. The first and most powerful of them all for me is that this book is way darker than the first book. I don't say it like that the author went darker just because, and she wanted to create some impact or some tension. No. I think it's very well done, and if you have read the first book, obviously, if you haven't, stop the review because this is the second one, and I'm going to be talking about things that happened in the first one, and if you haven't read the book, they're going to be very big spoilers, so yeah. Okay, if you remember the first book, it ended with Adraa stopping the eruption of the volcano, and despite the fact that she was the one that saved the day, she was held as the guilty party. So I thought that when I was waiting for the second book to be published and to be able to read it, I was kind of thinking that she was going to be judged. Maybe a truth spell will be used and then she will be declared innocent. And then we will have her and Jatin having the witty banter and having adventures and things like that. But no. What happens here is that she's judged. There is this truth spell and she confesses that she did it. She made the volcano erupt. She killed the people that died on that day, and she will gladly do it all over again. And you're like, what? Obviously, there has been some tampering with the magic. Something has been, I'm not going to explain what. You have to read the book. So Adraa gets sent to prison. So it's darker in that sense, because the things that Adraa is going to encounter in the prison are very dark and very powerful. And I think that they help shape her even more as a person and what she wants to offer to the world. We are going to have, as in the previous book, we are going to have chapters narrated by Jatin and chapters narrated by Adraa. For the sake of making a summary free of spoilers of the book, I'm going to center myself first on Adraa and then on Jatin. So when Adraa goes to the prison, I'm not going to say much spoilers, I'm not going to say much about it, but she is a victim of an attack that makes her lose her voice. So we have a voiceless Adraa, and that means that she can cast magic. So she finds herself stripped of the magic that defines who she is. She has this very strong link with her magic, as you have seen in the first book. So for her not to be able to cast and not to be able to use magic, it puts her in a very vulnerable position in which she feels like her own worth evaporates. She's this very powerful character that is always saying what she thinks and doing what she thinks her best. And suddenly she finds herself alone in this prison, voiceless, without magic. So she turns into this character at the beginning, which feels like she cannot raise her voice, like literally and, figuratively. So she tries to follow the lead of other characters that tell her, not to call attention to her, and she decides not to say her real name. So she is going to use the Jaya Smoke persona. And so, yeah, we're going to find her in hiding of sorts. So for me, that was something that was very powerful because she's going to see also very dark things in the prison. There's going to be lots of people who are stripped of their voice, and there's going to be these voiceless characters. I'm not going to say why they are stripped of their voices, but let's say only that there are very powerful women who are stripped of their voice and their ability to cast magic. And she's going to encounter a character which I love, that brings for more representation in this world that Nana Swift has created. Because Adraa has been stripped of her voice by magic, But there's this character who has been born without a voice, so she's going to be using signs language, which I found very important to have in books because there is very little representation of voiceless characters and deaf characters and sign language in books. So I love that kind of representation in this book. And as I was saying, for me that was, and I love that character. I'm not going to say much more, but I did love to have Adraa in that position, not because I wanted her to be, suffering, but because I think that it really helps her determine who she is and whether she wants to raise her voice to defend not only herself but the people that are around her and the people that suffer. And I think that she goes a very strong, powerful journey in this book. I think that by far, in the book, there is going to be times in which Jatin says that he is grown a lot, that he has come very far from the Jatin from the first book. But for me, it was Adraa who really did the leap on changing, Yeah, I love Adraa. She's amazing. I love her. And also, I don't know if that was something that the author wanted to do or it was something that was brought to my mind, but this idea of having powerful females brought to this prison made me think about something that's called in Spanish la trata de blancas, and that means that it's something that you can find worldwide, and it's when women are trying to run away from their homes or abusive places, and they encounter some people that say, come with me and I'm going to help you find a better place, I'm going to help you cross the sea, I'm going to help you only have to pay me a little and then you are going to be free. And then these women find themselves sold into slavery, into prostitution, and this book kind of made me think about it, because we have these women who are being like sold or captured. Some of them have done something horrible. I say maybe because we don't talk about all the characters that are in the prison in this book, but it brought me that reality. And I was reading and I was thinking about that, about these women who are trying to run from a situation that they want a better life and end up indebted to people who now own them. And that made me think about it. And also the imbalance in power, because in the prison there is people who are using these women for experimentation, for fighting, for enjoyment. So it made me think about all of this. And also sometimes in prisons you have like people who are abused, perpetrators of that abuse. And I don't know if it was something that the author purposely fully, I don't know how to say that. I don't know if she put all of this in purpose, on purpose, right, in the book, or it was something that my mind conjured, but it made me think about that. And yeah, let's say that I did love the storyline of Adraa, and that's why I said that I found it darker, because she's going to be facing her own demons, her inability to cast magic, so she loses two very important parts of herself, magic and the ability to raise her voice. And I love how she evolves from there. So yeah, mode zip, I'm not going to say anything more. And on the other side we have Jatin. He's outside the prison. He never wavers in the affection and love he has for Adraa. He knows that she's innocent. He was unconscious. He didn't see her saving the day, but he knows her, and he's quite convinced that she's not guilty, that she's been framed, and wants to help her. And he has this kind of voice inside his head repeating, free her, save her. So yeah, he's like hearing this voice inside his head that's continually saying, as I say, free her. So he and the friends we saw in the first book, Prisha, who is Adra's sister, and a soldier that I don't remember the name now, Hinen, I'm sorry, and Ria and Kailan, they are going to be, making plans to help free Adraa from the prison. And Adraa said, don't do that, try to learn why Molek did what he did. She wants what's best for her people. She kind of sacrificed herself, admitted, she went sent to prison, and she wanted these bunch of friends and Jatin to find what Molek was doing. So yeah, Jatin knows that Adraa wanted that, but as I said, there's this voice in his head saying, go save her. And so he loves her, so he's going to be thinking of different ways of going, like making this big haste, going into the prison and saving her. And yeah, I did love that we are going to have a new character. I'm not going to say much about that character, but I did love that we never knew if that character was there to save the day, or if that character was there to damn them all, or what really was the agenda for that character. I love that this character, I'm not saying the name, has like this dark area, gray area around themselves, that you never know what they really want to do. I love characters who you cannot say if they are good or if they're bad, or if their circumstances made them who they are. And I love that character because you never know what they are going to do, and that's amazing. So yeah, and also I have to say that I have like this beef with this book, this big beef, and it's like I wasn't in the book and I was thinking, okay, there is going to be something that can be fixed in a third book, and I was like, okay, this is not going to be a duology, this is going to be a trilogy, and I missed the announcement. No, it's a duology. Yeah, I'm sad because I love this world so much. I love the characters so much, and I think that we could have a spin-offs of Priya, the sister, and because I love it. And yeah, it has like this very big open ending, and obviously it closes. I mean, you can read it. The book closes the action and everything that has been going on, but it also leaves like this kind of open ending, and I love it. Yeah, I know that I say, okay, I wanted it to be a trilogy, and now it's a duology, and I wanted a third book, but that's because I love the world. I love that we have open endings, because I think that real life, how to explain that? I kind of imagine myself like I had been traveling with these people for a bit. I have been part of their story. I have, felt what they have felt, and I have been traveling with them. And then suddenly life goes one way for them and another way for me. And it's like when you have a friend and stop seeing them and you see them like 10 years from now, and it's like, hey, what's on? But I mean, the story's life goes on. And I love that there's this open ending in which you can think about what's going to happen. And I'm not going to say much more because I don't want to spoil the ending. But it ends in a way that you can begin thinking what changes and what new developments are going to be happening for our characters. Obviously, I say all the topics about the slavery and women's soul and the imbalance of power in prison, and we're going to be saying lots of things, new topics in this book, like democracy, because we have the line of power wasn't elected. It was, the kid was born to power and they began to be the Maharani. But here we are going to be like, there is going to be this population who is very hungry with everything that has going on, and they want a democracy. And I love that certain characters say, okay, you're right. I mean, power should be elected by the people, and the people who represent the people, the ones elected represent the people, and power should be distributed and not in the hands of some families. I also love that we still have very strong females. I mean, there was one character that was very strong in the first book, and it was very unexpected, and I'm talking about Adra's mother. I love her a lot. I know where the Adraa comes from and where Priya comes from, and I have to say that I love seeing her in the second book. And the sister is amazing, and we need books centered like this spin-off with the sister, because I love her. Also, I love the ideas of friendships that we have in this book. I love that we have characters who don't feel romantic attachments at all. I love that we have characters that have love interest for persons of the same sex. I love that we have all kinds of relationships developed in this book. The new character that I was talking about, that I didn't reveal who that character is, I love also how that character, it might seem at the beginning, Yeah, I'm not going to try to spoil that. But I love the new character because it brings into the fore what happens when you have a family that's always pressuring you into being this idea of you that they have. I don't know if I'm making sense. I love that character because that character is trying to live up to the expectations that family have of them. And yeah, I mean, their own persona get kind of erased because you have to be that, you have to be able to, and the abuse that character goes through and the persona that character is at the moment we encounter them, it's amazing. And I love how well crafted Anna Swift made it all. And yeah, I want to talk about so many things of this book that I love. I don't know how long this review is going to be, so I'm going to shut up because in very this close I have been like a couple of times of saying some very big spoilers, and I don't want to spoil this book for anyone. If you like the first one, you're going to love the second one, and I need more books by Dana Swift. I'm very sad to have to let go these two characters because I love them a lot. I love how powerful they are together. I love how they respect each other. I love how equal they are. And as I say in the review of the first book, I love how Jatin doesn't care about saying that she is more powerful than him, and this is something that I love. And I love how he literally bows to her, like, I might have like a higher place of power, but you are more powerful than me, and I love that. And yeah, I'm not going to say anything more because I don't want to make any spoiler or a slip of tongue. So yeah, pick this one up. If you haven't read these books, you don't know what you are missing. They are amazing. So thank you for watching. Bye.